Continuing on with this idea of keeping the horse's head nice and long and relaxed, we're now going to go into playing with some bends and some shoulder in work, but shoulder in into a halt, into a backup. This is a little different, but it's a great exercise to really help the horses to start to come through and get soft and relaxed, and to keep them responsive. How we're going to do that is we're going to ask the horse to get its head and neck down and long, and we're along the fence here, and so now I'm just going to ask him to flex his head towards me. So we've already played with in some earlier videos on getting the horse's head nice and long, going forward, halting and backing up, that, and getting control over the shoulder. So if you're not even quite ready for this part of it, go back and play with that. So here is just getting the horse's head and neck nice and long and relaxed, but then bending just at a halt here. So can he flex his head and neck to me? That's nice. Now I'm going to ask him to just walk forward. Can he keep a nice bend in his head and neck, keeping his head long, but then walking off, but keeping a bend? Now, we're doing a lot of this in-hand work here in the halter. I like to just kind of play with it in the halter here in the very beginning, because you don't have to be as critical with your hands. So in some ways it's a little harder to get some of the stuff, in other ways it's a little easier. So with getting a little bend, I'm gonna see where do I need to hold on the halter to get him to flex his head towards me. If my horse is having a hard time bending, I'm gonna kind of pull on the brow band of the halter, or sorry, not the nose band of the halter. If they're tending to pop up more, I might keep my hand down here. So you just decide where's your hand going to best benefit him. So for him, it's the bend that's a little more of an issue. So now I'm going to ask him to step off, keeping a bend, just like with our forward and halting we did going straight ahead. Now we're just doing the same thing here, but all I wanted him to do is just flex his head and neck towards me. Walking along, keeping the walk. So I'm using my whip here to say keep walking. Keep a nice long neck. Yay! As soon as he gets free in that, I can come to a halt. So there he gets all bracy. He wants to flip his head the other direction. So I say, no, bring your head back down and get soft here. Getting him to tip his nose, long and relaxed. That's all we're looking for there. So now, once he's got that, he's standing there, then I'm gonna say, okay, let's go off forward. Keep your head nice and long and relaxed. And it doesn't have to be a big major bend in the neck. It's just a soft bend. He kind of wants to lean into me, so I have to use the halter, put a little feel to say, no, don't lean into me. And then I can say, let's go here with the whip. His head's a little high, so I'm going to ask him to drop his head down. Here I'm now, he's wanting to tip his pole to the outside, so I keep using the nose band here on the halter, saying just stay flexed to me. Yes, there. So his feet got soft, he got relaxed in my hand. Now I'm going to come to a halt. That was nice. I like that, because everything just kind of freed up. So again, it's not anything complicated, but it can be a big deal for the horse, because you're saying, hey, just tip your head to the left a little bit as we walk forward. So we'll do that again. So I'm first getting him to flex to me at the halt. Then I say, can you step forward? He wants to pop his head up. I'm saying, no, just stay soft. Let's go forward. Yeah. Keeping his everything relaxed and flowing. It's nice and fluid through the movements. So this isn't bad here. A little sticky in the head and neck. Yep. Yes. And come down to a halt. That was pretty good. Now I'm going to ask him to back up with a slight bend. Yeah, that actually was pretty good for him. Because it's one thing to get this moving forward, it's a whole nother thing to get it in the backup. So again, we start off, get that bend, and then say, can we walk forward? He's saying, let's go backwards. I like that better. So I'm just activating, yes. Now I'm going to give you a variation of this. So maybe you have to do a little bending, or a little circling here. Go back and do that. That's fine. If you need to do a little circling, then take them down the fence. That's all right. Just don't get too much into the circling without getting the bend in the neck, because otherwise they can still kind of drop their shoulder in. So I'm just using the circle here almost as a way of a reward. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing is we can head down the rail the other way and get the bend here. Now what this is going to oftentimes do is it's going to turn into more of a counter shoulder in, because they can swing their head, their hind end off the rail. So just be aware of that. It's not a big deal if they do that, but just make sure you're getting the head nice and long and relaxed. You see how I just did a half circle there and was able to keep the bend through all of this. So that's what we're looking for, is can we start to go on some different lines of travel and him maintain that bend, that softness. Come to a halt. There he's kind of leaning. I'm like, don't lean on me. And so I just put a little vibration there in the halter if he starts leaning on it. And now I'm going to ask for a little backup. While he stays bent. Yeah, so that's pretty nice. And now I'm going to change sides, do the same thing the other direction, because you want to make sure you have this working on both sides. And each side's going to be a little different. Oftentimes one side is going to be a little stiffer than the other side, so we'll just see what that is. Nice. See, that's pretty good. His nice long neck there. He's bending to me, so now I'm going to ask him to walk forward. But don't lean, because see, he wants to kind of lean on with the shoulder there. So I'm saying, let's go forward. Stay soft, stay relaxed. Yeah. And that's pretty nice there. Come to a halt. He wants to push through, and so I just keep directing, keep helping him till I can get him to find his feet, plant to come to a halt while he keeps a band. There's a nice lick and chew there, so I'm giving him a moment. Now keep the band and back up. Don't get in a hurry with the backup. If you're having a challenge just getting forward and halt, stay with that until the horse gets pretty responsive. Yeah, and then ask him to walk off. And a nice bend there. Just keeping that bend in the head and neck. And keeping them nice and long, where they're not up in the air. Keeping them long and bent as we come through the transition. Nice. And now I can ask him to back up, still keeping a nice and long head and neck there. Just a couple steps. Yeah, and that was really nice there. So again, this isn't anything that's real complicated, but these are great little exercises. Maybe you only have 10 minutes to go play with your horse. So you can come out and do some of this, and it can really help them to get balanced and soft and relaxed in just a few minutes. And so use this as a way to help those transition. This is particularly good for horses that when you either go faster or slower, going up a speed or down a speed, and the head pops up. They're like, ah, because their back gets contracted. You come play with this, it's going to really help them to start to get longer and relaxed as they come through those transitions. So that's how you can start getting some bend through the transition, and we'll continue on in some other ways of using the shoulder in, counter shoulder in the backup to play with this. Well, that'll be in the next video, so we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.